Hello, this is the World University and School WUAS news and question and answer on Monday, December 5th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm Scott McLeod. And as we wait to see if people will join us in this open conversation, and especially for the generative effects of conversation with your answers or your questions about upcoming free to students university degrees at worlduniversityandschool.org. Here is a little sticker with more information about World University and School.org URLs and contacts. You can see the academic press and bookstore at the bottom. I'd like to share a little news with you. Let's see, are anyone joining us? Nope, not yet. Very glad that the acting treasurer of WUAS, sort of WUS #1, Larry Veland, shared both of these MIT publications recently. The MIT Tech Review with an article, few articles on aging reversal genetic drug therapies, and one about bringing people back to life via avatar bots, maybe by adding some hours of audio into natural language processing software that might make an avatar bot become that person somehow. Who knows? And this MIT News with the still president of MIT, Raphael Reif, whose 10 years are ending at the end of this month, and who will be followed by a new president in 2023 at MIT. Interesting articles in them. So the first item news I'd like to share with you is regarding the upcoming accreditation process that World University and School is exploring, potentially with the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, and also coming into conversation with a world university in Sri Lanka, southeast of India, at the email address srilanka@worlduniversityandschool.org, RIFI, and some other universitians about RIFI's ideas, alternative ideas for accreditation, and his thinking also about joint accreditation or co-accreditation. For example, could World University and School co-accredit with MIT? Could MIT, for example, which is accredited by the New England Commission on Higher Education, somehow work with the Middle States Commission on Higher Education with its offices in Philadelphia together as World University and School seeks to proceed with licensing and accreditation, with regard also to World University and School building on Creative Commons 4 licensed ocw.mit.edu centric courseware for free to students degrees at World University and School, potentially in all 200 countries and in their main languages, and for free to students bachelor's degrees, PhD degrees, law degrees, online medical degrees with online teaching hospitals, international baccalaureate high school degrees or similar, and newly perhaps with also online master's degrees and online AA degrees, associate's degrees, maybe a 2-year undergraduate process, for example. And out of this conversation with Rifai and his helpful email suggesting accreditation agencies, alternative maybe to the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, some even in the US State Department, interestingly, but distance education accrediting agencies and similar otherwise. Out of this conversation, I emailed the now president of MIT, Raphael Reif, and the incoming president of MIT, and inquired about possibly collaborating with them in one way or another. I'll read the letter to them. It's in a blog post in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from November 30th, 2022, American Sweet Gum. Dear MIT President Raphael Reif and MIT President-elect Sally Kornbluth, greetings from CC4 MIT Open Courseware-centric Wiki World University and School, planned in 200 countries as major online free-to-students degree-granting universities in these countries' main languages, and in each of all 7,151 known living languages as wiki schools for free people-to-people open teaching and learning. And there's a link to the World University and School Foundation, which ends with world_university_foundation at wiki.worlduniversityandskool.org/wiki/world_university_foundation. As World University and School proceeds with seeking to become accredited by Middle States Commission on Higher Education with offices in the greater Philadelphia, PA area, and licensed by a related university licensing organization, I'm writing to inquire at this stage of licensing and accreditation about possible co-accrediting with MIT itself, where MIT is accredited by the New England Commission of Higher Education. While as president of MIT Open Courseware-centric Wiki World University and School, I think that Creative Commons 4 licensing of CC4 MIT Open Courseware, which allows for 1, sharing MIT Open Courseware freely, 2, adapting it, 3, but non-commercially, is what makes it possible for MIT Open Courseware-centric World University and School to build and grow, potentially to offer free to students online bachelor, PhD, law, MD, and IB high school or similar WUAS degrees. And that this legally is the extent of our MIT WUAS relationship. I'm writing to inquire with you, MIT President Raphael Reif and MIT President-elect Sally Kornbluth, and in this time of MIT presidential transition, about new possibilities of open co-accreditation, as well as to further grow our communication. Would it be possible for World University and School to co-accredit with MIT? All the best, Scott G.K. McCloud, founder, president, CEO, and professor, World University and School, WUAS, both with addresses in Canyon, California, 94516, and in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15221, and with 1, the nonprofit 501c3 World University and School, URL, website address, and also this is a second legal entity in California, an exempt legal entity, and 2, the for-profit general stock company, WUAS Corporation in California, with its own URL, the academicpress.html, which are 3 legal entities in total. So that's the letter to presidents at MIT that Rifai in Sri Lanka World University and School facilitated my writing of by his conversation suggesting possible accreditation agencies as maybe alternatives to Middle States Commission on Higher Education, or maybe because other accreditation agencies would work better for Sri Lankan students in the Sinhala language, for example, accreditation agencies based in Southeast Asia, for example. But this has been a helpful conversation with RIFI. I'll carry on with the letter I responded to RIFI at Sri Lanka World University and School and about 200 other universitians, which I shared yesterday in the WS News and Question and Answer for 12/5/22 emailing, that World University and School is still waiting to communicate further with the Middle States Commission on Higher Education, MSCHE, based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And one reason is for CC4 licensed ocw.mit.edu centric World University and School with MSCHE accreditation to be able to seek reimbursement for CC4 licensed OCW courseware resources from all departments of education in all 50 US states and from many departments of education in all 200 countries. Like MIT itself seeks tuition from students from all 200 countries due to New England Commission on Higher Education, NECHE accreditation, in a sense. And similarly, the University of Pennsylvania might do so, seeking tuition from students from all 200 countries via Middle States Commission on Higher Education. This reimbursement from departments of education in 50 US states and 200 countries for free to students CC4 MIT OpenCourseWare centric WUAS degrees on an emerging Google WUAS platform could amount to $14,000 to $55,000 per student per year, eventually from richer countries, and $200 to $800 per student per year via poorest countries' departments of education, and also improve our WUAS MIT OpenCourseWare-centric platform in 7 languages dramatically in the process. MIT OpenCourseWare is in 7 languages. So I think WUS would seek to offer these free degrees in Sri Lanka to Sri Lankan students through the US State Department, for example, and potentially through WUAS's contacts like Partha Mazumdar, who could become even US ambassador to Sri Lanka in the Foreign Service, and a friend in the US State Department, Tim Lenderking, who has expressed great interest in Yemen World University and School, and WUAS in all 25 official Arabic language countries out of roughly 200 countries in the world, and even for the US State Department. Tim invited me to his family home in New Hampshire this summer, meeting me for, we met together for hiking together last week, halfway between Washington, D.C. and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 2.5 hours away for each of us. And we'll meet again 2 hours drive for each of us this week for another hike along the Chesapeake and Ohio C&O Canal, partnering with WUAS in all 200 countries. So in what ways would we offer these free degrees to Sri Lankan students through the US State Department and partner with the US State Department in all 200 countries? And I think they're roughly in 196 countries. So thank you, RIFI in Sri Lanka, for sharing some of the US State Department accreditation opportunities before, and for your many good suggestions. I followed up with an email letter to the 2 MIT presidents, and thanks to RIFI. So the reason I think following up with Middle States Commission on Higher Education for World University and School first, and then some of your RIFI other good accrediting ideas in the upcoming 2 to 5 years, is our WUAS MIT OpenCourseware centricity. And in seeking to become the excellent Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Oxford, Cambridge of the internet, thanks to CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseware in its 7 languages, with roughly 2,600 courses in English presently, both undergraduate and graduate. Some accreditation agencies will offer a kind of gold standard for quality compared with others, RIFI. And even regarding WUAS seeking to facilitate a single cryptocurrency worldwide to most of all 7.9 billion people on the planet, to end poverty, each of these 7.9 billion people a Wikidata PIN number at World University and School, potentially. While other accreditations won't offer a kind of gold standard for quality. And World University and School hasn't heard back yet from Middle States Commission on Higher Education in about 10 days. But we're hoping to work with Middle States Commission on Higher Education for some of these questions of quality as well as an accrediting agency. And MIT OpenCourseware-centric WUAS seeks to accredit with MISH in these regards, but has reached out to MIT presidents on Wednesday, 11/30/2022, to increase communication and as networking, like accreditation agencies are networks too, between MIT and WUAS, especially thanks to your suggestions, RIFI. I think WUAS MSCHE accredited degrees, almost as brand, like MIT degrees, which accredits with NECHE, New England Commission on Higher Education, will be a most significant thing for Sri Lankan students, especially too, 20 to 30 million Sri Lankans, I think. And that WUAS seeking to accredit within this network is the way forward. This network of potentially Commission on Higher Education, like organizations in the US. So thanks, RIFI, for your thinking about co or joint accreditation, the MIT brand or name, and thanks to CC4 licensed MIT OpenCourseware in 7 languages, is WUAS's way forward, including reimbursement-wise from all 200 countries, departments of education, and so financially, rather than tuition from students, which the CC4 licensing doesn't make possible. And in WUAS seeking to hire and employ thousands or tens of thousands, or even more, of Sri Lankans at Sri Lanka WUAS in the future. Thank you for your ongoing thinking and idea sharing, RIFI. Regards, Scott. So that's the first big news item I'd like to share with you today. A few more. So thanks very much to Lydia Pincher, who is the product manager at Wikidata, part of Wikimedia, for the following helpful explanations of Wikidata, a structured knowledge database in 300 languages, and the so-called backend of Wikipedia, and which WUAS has been in since around 2015, and which is gradually connecting with World University and Schools front end, WUS Miraheza Media Wiki, such as in the open, free, editable, teachable to wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/subjects with a capital S page where you could begin teaching right now or learning from. Find a academic subject and check out the MIT OpenCourseWare there, or add further MIT OpenCourseWare courses. Find a creative subject other than an academic subject. Check out the resources there, or create a new wiki subject. School, an area you might be interested in developing or teaching or being creative in, where you can wiki teach or learn by editing a subject you're interested in, or creating a new wiki subject and, for example, seeing if there's a related ocw.mit.edu course or two you might like to add, or by creating a YouTube video of something you'd like to teach about and add to it the related wiki subject page at WUAS. So thanks very much to Lydia Pincher for these two great explanations of Wikidata on Twitter at NIGHTROSE Nightrose on December 3rd, 2022. The first Twitter post from Lydia Pincher reads, "Well, that settles it," at Wikidata. And it's a characterization of Wikidata that a 5-year-old might find clear and helpful. And the second Twitter post, Lydia Pincher at NIGHTROSE on December 3rd, 2022, reads, "Okay, I think I like this one better, even better." And it's a Twitter post about Wikidata with using superheroes as an example for understanding how Wikidata works as a structured knowledge database. So the third item I'd like to share with you is about robotics at World University and School, and even from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which could be considered a robotics center in the USA. And there's a wiki subject page at World University and School on robotics, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/ROBOTICS. And with potentially much MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages, and this robotics page and other robotics pages at World University and School will emerge in all 200 countries' major online universities in their official languages, and develop differently in each country, I think. So first part of this news item is, who here plays with and likes Miko 3? The most advanced AI-powered learning bot in Google Education Group's India. And you can see a great picture in the news article that I shared with about 200 Universitians, in the newspaper article of Miko 3 on a desk with a young learner, student, probably in India. So World University and School is interested in exploring developing with Miko 3 more. You could think of Miko 3 as a little bit like Siri or Alexa or Google Voice Assistant in a little robot that's maybe 1.5 feet high, whose face is a computer screen with eyes and a keyboard. And you can ask Miko 3 questions. And Miko 3 can move around. It has 2 wheels at front and a roller ball at the back as its mode of motion. You can dance with it. It's made for 5 to 10-year-olds. but it's a fascinating new development in robotics that's conversationally oriented. So the news item here, and I'm going to bring a MECO 3 to show to Tim Lenderking in our upcoming hike in the US State Department this upcoming week. And also I'm going to bring this Lego robot that I built the other day and programmed newly with the Scratch programming language. And I won't run it right now, but this is the Smart Hub in Lego Robotics WeDo 3 kit. There's a little sensor here, a tilt sensor. Those arrows indicate the tilt sensor. And the primate, gorilla, that I made is here. And there's a motor on the back on its torso with some gears and cogs here. And it moves. It can even dance. And those are its front legs, and those are its rear legs. And it can connect to the Smart Hub here, which will run its motor with batteries in here. And this I will also bring to share with my friend Tim Lenderking in the US State Department when we go hiking this upcoming week. So these are some robotics possibilities at World University and School, where people are already making robotics at home, programming them with the great drag and drop Scratch programming language out of MIT and Harvard, and that kids are doing too with their Lego robotics kits, like the new Spike Prime Lego robotics kit, and the WUAS Corporation educational services stores, bookstores, robotics stores, computer stores, is very glad to be an official authorized carrier of 3 Lego robotics kits in these regards, including WeDo 2.0, which is actually retired, but also an official carrier of Lego Spike Prime and Mindstorm's EV3. I'm not sure where Mindstorms is heading with Lego right now, but this is the robotics, some of the robotics developments that World University and School is following and exploring developing. So further, with regard to MECO 3, one of the things that makes it so interesting as a robot this year is it's most engaging, and its educational experiences that it offers for kids age 5 to 10 in a kind of conversational way, like you might ask Google Voice Assistant or Siri questions of, get answers to. And one of the questions World University and School is exploring further with regard to robotics, and possibly coming out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is how to develop humanoid robots. And possibly even with Computer Science First, CS First, it's a hashtag in Twitter, with Google, hashtag with Google in Twitter as well, for World University and School to create a Professor MECO 10 humanoid robot, brainstorming wise, or a Professor MECO 100, the 100th iteration out of MECO as a humanoid robot, maybe with Lego robotics by that time for World University and School, and for WUAS home robotics and our matriculating students making robots at home as they study toward free degrees, bachelor, PhD, law, medicine. similarly. Further with robotics at World University and School, in this WS News and Question and Answer on 12/5/22, a most engaging educational experiences beyond MECO 3, beyond MECO 10, MECO 100 humanoid robot with CS First with Google. There's a course that students can matriculate into World University and School with, called CS First with Google at WUAS, Learning the Scratch Programming Language, presently. Beyond a most engaging educational experiences beyond MECO 3 and MECO 10 in a CC4 licensed OCW.MIT.edu centric World University and School teaching and learning robot. This will revolutionize learning, I would suggest. When we can start interactively conversing with robots like MECO 3 and robots we make from Lego robotics that might even become our professors. In a related vein, in this news item on robotics, is there a humanoid robotics opportunity for World University and School regarding this following newspaper article from the Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung in Germany? The article, translated by Google Translate, says, "Staff shortage in Germany. Where have all the workers gone? In Germany, there is a lack of staff everywhere. Every second company, ... that's still around may be forced to become inventive." So perhaps World University and School can help with this as well by offering free to students engineering degrees at World University and School in Germany, World University and School in German with Lego robotics, so that German kids grow up making robots out of Lego. That further helps with approaching these questions of where have all the workers gone in this information technology revolution, information age that we're living through. And the last robotics news item I'd like to share with you has to do potentially with World University and Schools' interest in collaborating with Google further, and that MECO 3 is emerging from India with offices in the San Francisco Bay Area in Pleasanton, California, and that Sundar Pichai, the CEO of both Google and Alphabet, based in Mountain View, California, recently tweeted about with the ambassador to the United States from India, Ambassador Singh, S-I-N-G-H, who could well make possible furthering also World University and School's robotics developments, as World University and School seeks to matriculate students from India online from their homes for free to students degrees in each of all 200 countries official, in each of all 22 official languages in India, potentially in all 470 languages in India by one count as well. So could this connection, and these two Twitter posts have Ambassador Singh and Sundar Pichai meeting in San Francisco or in the Bay Area, could this communication further facilitate even reimbursement from India also to World University and School per student per year for these free degrees that we would like to facilitate, as WUAS further collaborates with both MIT OpenCourseWare and with Google. So I think that's the news I'd like to share with you today. No one sought to join us yet for the generative effects of conversation. As a postscript to this 12/5/22 WS News and Question and Answer, I'd like to share some further questions regarding Cambridge University psychology emeritus professor Nicholas Humphrey regarding the philosophy of mind and questions about consciousness, which is a very challenging set of scientific and philosophical, maybe intractable questions that have long been thought about by philosophers in many countries and very rigorously. So I'll just read the two tweets that I created in these regards, and retweeting also David Chalmers' tweet, philosopher of mind, of consciousness, regarding a recent talk he gave at a neuroscience philosophy conference. So first tweet, is consciousness an intractable scientific and philosophical set of questions such that a 20% chance of digital sentience, one definition of consciousness, in 10 years seems improbable? And David Chalmers' article is about sentience, about AI making digital sentience possible, 20% chance in 10 years, the article about David Chalmers' talk reads. Twitter post continued, but do Nicholas Humphreys at HUMPHREN 8 books on sentience and his work with blind sight in great apes, in primates, which he said recently in an email correspondence solves the problem, the hard problem that David Chalmers poses regarding consciousness. I think perhaps that one can maybe, from a neuroscience perspective, understand in the brain what vision is for blind primates, may be part of this. Does this offer a physical digital sentience as a conception of consciousness, offer a physical digital distinction, distinguishing sentience from awareness, from feeling, from subjectivity, from mind, conceptions of consciousness, presumably all emerging from the brain and or our body minds? And does digital sentience, taking into account blind sight, offer new coding possibilities? Check out the tweet on World University and School's 6 Twitter feeds. The second tweet I'd like to share with you is in a related vein. Wow, digital sentience in 10 years, e.g., how to reconcile the first person and third person views of consciousness, awareness, feeling, or sentience, subjectivity, first person singular accounts. And with even regard to WUAS virtual reality. So think in a realistic virtual Earth for brain science, a physical, digital, realistic virtual Earth for iterating questions of even consciousness, and even in avatar bot electronic medical records for potentially telerobotic surgery. So think the little Google Pegman growing large in Google Street View with time slider maps Earth, TensorFlow AI, possibly even coding Pegman for consciousness, sentience, blind sight, as a way of asking further philosophical questions about consciousness as sentience, as a way of asking, coding for further questions of consciousness in this ongoing conversation of how does consciousness work? What is it? Why can't we understand it philosophically or scientifically? How to bring mind and body questions together in new ways, thanks to digital processes. So that's the news I'd like to share with you today on Monday, December 5th, 2022. I'm Scott McLeod. I'm the head and president of World University and School, presiding clerk, CEO too, presently. Hopefully, World University and School and accrediting will potentially collaborate further with the US State Department in offering free online university degrees in all 200 countries and in their main languages, and begin to approach some of these other questions in new ways, thanks to a growing CC4 licensed ocw.mit.edu centric Wiki World University and School on a Google WUAS emerging education platform in 200 countries and in 7,151 known living languages. The next WUAS news and question and answer will meet next Monday, December 12th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned to twitter.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH for the joining information. If you would like to come with your thoughts, your suggestions, your questions, your ideas. Meeting at worlduniversityandschool.org is the email address and the homepage for World University and School. We're seeking to matriculate large numbers of students for accrediting or accredited World University and School September 1, 2023. And until next week, I will also post this recording to youtube.com/SCOTT/MACLEODWORLDUNIVERSTY, youtube.com/Scott McLeod World University. See you next week. Twitter.com for further conversation. Bye for now.